Alyssa Houde will be covering what the Jets are doing for Winnipeg Sports Talk. I'm pleased to welcome her to the RP Show, making her RP Show debut. Alyssa, welcome. Producer Clark tells me that you're new on the scene, but kind of not that new on the scene. So before we go into your Jets coverage, tell us a little bit about you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on and loving the outfit you got going on. I'm kind of on your side, the bill, but I sure hope they don't. Winnipeg Sports Talk, where I do the show called Winnipeg Sports Talk Deep Dive. We actually just put out a new episode this morning on Cole Perfetti. We talk a little bit about players that matter to Winnipeg Jets fans, young prospects, trade targets, things like that. But I've kind of been in and around the space doing odd shows, podcasts here and there for the last few years. But just got started with Winnipeg Sports Talk this summer, and I'm really excited for everything coming up.
I'll tell you what. If Hustler and Remo are going to sign off on Alyssa Houde, as will I. So welcome to the perilous trade. And tell me, with this Young Stars tournament in Penticton, what will you be watching and Jets fans be watching for out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout outs here. You told me that you're a big Braden Yager fan, and I think that that's going to go over well with Jets fans. That's what they should be watching for, too. I think that's the big name, the big discussion point of the tournament. This new blue chip prospect that has come into the organization. First time watching him play with other guys in the Winnipeg Jets organization is going to be very exciting. But other guys who are looking to maybe make their mark and sort of work their way up the ranks in the prospect pool, like Brad Lambert, who's hoping to get an NHL spot this year with the Jets, Colby Barlow and Nikita Chibrikov, who are looking to kind of grow in their roles in the prospect pool as well, I think are going to be big guys to watch for, as well as the two goaltending prospects we have in Thomas Milic and Dom DiVincentis. Those are two guys who are kind of battling it out for maybe some starting spots on the Manitoba Moose this year. So lots of exciting stuff going on, as well as all of the new prospects coming in from this year's draft class. But I'd say for Winnipeg Jets fans, Braden Yager, Colby Barlow, Brad Lambert, and guys to watch for.
Are there expectations of Yager staying in Winnipeg this year, whether it be the Jets or the Moose, or is the expectation that he's going back to Moose Jaw?
Great question. Yeah, I think that one has been kind of a conversation topic for a lot of Jets. I think the highest likelihood is that he goes back to Moose Jaw this year. Unfortunately, he is ineligible to play in the AHL. He's not quite old enough. If he were to stay in Winnipeg, it would have to be with the Winnipeg Jets. And I just think with the nature of the way this group is, it's probably not in the cards for the kid. But I think it's going to be a really interesting year for him in Moose Jaw or somewhere else in the WHL if he ends up being a trade target this coming year. But I think the highest likelihood is that he stays in the Dub.
By the way, Joshua and Blas here in South Florida say, welcome to the show, Alyssa. We are new here as well. They've been following the show I do for the South Florida Tribune, and they just like what we do here, which I think is quality sports talk. We don't let anybody on the air unless they're good. But, you know, the Panthers and Lightning last year at the rookie tournament here, I don't think anybody in the tournament made the big club. For these two teams, the Panthers and the Lightning, will anybody for the Jets this weekend make the Jets big club this year? One guy, two guys, any more than that?
Yeah, I think the highest likelihood right now is that one player from this tournament will make the roster, and that's Brad Lambert. I think highest likelihood of the younger, maybe Dylan Anhorn types getting a seventh defenseman role or something like that. I think we're looking at a pretty solid, pretty highly expected Brad Lambert making his NHL debut as a starter this year. He played his first game at the end of last year, and he's probably going to make opening night roster depending on how training camp goes for him. Other than that, the next highest, in my opinion, would be Nikita Chibrikov, and that I think is a little bit of a stretch at this point. So I'm thinking one pretty realistically, the ball is in Brad Lambert's court. It's time for him to go back to the Moose, but I think the highest likelihood at this point is that he will make the Jets this year.
Whatever they're calling it, Young Stars, rookie tournament, that aside, what are the other questions and stories around the Jets entering training camp, which officially begins next week?
Yeah, very excited, which people should be really excited about. I think the biggest question mark for a lot of people, I sort of hinted at this earlier when I said, WST Deep Dive, we have put out an episode this morning about Cole Perfetti. That's the big question mark. Winnipeg was able to lock up a lot of their RFAs this summer. Cole Perfetti is one that's still sitting without a contract, so we're expecting that to get kind of tied up in the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of conversation out there about how the likelihood, seeing as he's on the NHL tour in Vegas right now, is that this player has a bridge deal kind of sitting in the drawer, but both camps are looking to see if they can secure something a little bit more long-term. Maybe not as high as a Seth Jarvis AAV, but something a little bit smaller than that because this player seems very committed to staying in Winnipeg. So it'll be interesting to watch for that over the next couple weeks. And then also looking at a guy like Nikolai Ehlers, who was considered to be a little bit of a trade target this summer. There were some question marks about whether or not he was going to be moving around. We could be looking at an extension in that camp as well. It sounds like parties like Kevin Cheveldayoff and Scott Arniel are very committed to this player, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to work something out as we speak.
Okay, that's the heavy lifting. You clearly know your stuff. I just want to know a little bit more about you. You a Winnipeg gal?
I am, yeah. I born and raised in rural Manitoba. I'm actually currently right now in Quebec City. As weird as that sounds, my job is fully remote, so I have some flexibility. So I like to kind of go all over and whatnot. But I'm big into hockey, big into analytics and that sort of stuff. You know, in my day job, I do a lot of work with software and charts and dashboards and all that good stuff. So getting to combine those things with marketing and hockey stuff is what I live for. I love all of that sort of stuff. So I live out loud online. So lots of TikTok content, lots of Twitter content. And I just love to talk about hockey with anyone who wants to contribute to conversations as well.
You had me at rural Manitoba because I come from the country too. So where?
I'm so west of Winnipeg, not quite all the way to Brandon, but you know, my mom's family, my dad's family, everyone hails from that area, so I kind of got that all covered. Anywhere between kind of Starbuck and Sanford and Oak Bluff, but all the way up to St. Laurent, we got Alyssa Houde family roots everywhere. So,
Joshua here in South Florida wants to know, what's your Twitter? They all want to give you a follow.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. My Twitter handle is @LysHoude, so that's LYSSHOUDE, X if you want to call it that. Talk a lot of hockey on there, but I also talk a lot of Miami Dolphins. So if that's what you're looking for too, we got some there.
Okay, and who, I just got to know, again, just my own morbid curiosity, who are your broadcast and media mentors that you looked up to as a youngster?
Great question. That I have been so fortunate that in the last few years, because I have a very unconventional kind of start when it comes to media and hockey spaces and whatnot. I kind of started on a Twitter account as a little bit of a joke, kind of having fun with people. And then I realized that there were opportunities. So everyone in the Winnipeg Jets media space has been unbelievably kind to me. I will start listing names, and if I forget someone, it's only because I'm so fortunate that there are so many out there. But guys like Murat Atesh from The Athletic, Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet, and Ken Weave from Sportsnet have been fabulous mentors. Obviously, Michael Remus and Andrew Patterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk have been amazing. The guys over at SDPN, so Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, Jesse Blake, that's where I used to work as well, and they have been incredible, as well as Andrew Berkshire, who was in charge of the platform that I worked on at SDPN. I could go on for hours and hours, but there are some of them that have been really kind to me, very, very patient with me, and given me lots of opportunity in the space that I am so thankful for.
Yeah, those are all great guys. Well, hey, thanks for finding some time for us, Alyssa. I hope we can do it again soon. Enjoy the hockey this weekend.
Yeah, you as well. Take care.
Alyssa Houde from Winnipeg Sports Talk.